Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Stencil Saturday video. This week we are working with my Crossed Diamonds Stencil, and I did mark it so that the diamonds are horizontal. So this week I'm just going to kind of keep it nice and simple. We're going to do just a free motion design. So one of my favorite things, as you might know from watching the videos, is using the stencils to make something that you don't really even notice in the stencil. But one of my other favorite things to do is to use the stencil lines just as a guide to lay down some very common quilting designs. So in this case, we're going to do continuous curve. So what I mean by this is that we have all of these lines here. So why not, you could, mark a regular grid, but if you mark, something else besides just a standard grid, you can follow these lines to do your continuous curve just the same, and it kind of changes it up a little bit. And it's very easy, you're not doing anything different. It's not any harder. It's just laying it on some different lines than just a plain grid. Now you could, with this one, you could also use just these little rectangles and do it on there, but we're going to try it with all of these lines, see how it looks. I generally have used this stencil to do it just with these rectangles, but we're going to go ahead and try using these angled lines as well. And I'm not going to do a standard continuous curve where it's just an arc. I'm going to do the twist one where it's like bigger on one side and smaller on the other. I like that one, and I feel like it kind of flows a little bit better. So I'm going to start right up here at the top corner. I'm just going to work my way across the top. And for me, what I always kind of think is, so I always start mine with the big side. And so in my head, as I'm stitching, I usually am kind of thinking like big, small, so I remember what I'm doing. What I mean by that, so I'll just do this first one. I'm just going to go from here to here. I'm going to kind of swing out so that one's wide, and then it gets narrow, and then go back, wide and narrow, and then I'm just going to work my way across, wide, narrow, and then these ones are going to be smaller because it's a smaller line. Down to narrow, wider, curves down to narrow. And it's also going to fill this in a little more. It'll be great for a fill. So now I'm just going to work my way back across the bottom here. Wider, curves down to the narrow, wider, down to narrow, and then do that again. Wider to the narrow, wide, back to the point. So you're really, you're just following these lines that are already there. And then back across the bottom. And then we'll just start again. This time we're going to go the angle first. And like every time you use a stencil, if you are not quite on that point or line, once the stencil's gone, no one will know that you didn't hit exactly on your mark. And then back across the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch the rest of these for you. you. Okay, now that I've finished the stitching, let's go ahead and take a look at this. And I did get rid of the stencil marks as well. Probably would have been better if I used a lighter thread. So let me go ahead and that. I mean, I really like this. It actually has this very flowy, like flower design to it. And it fills it in very nice. I mean, it would have been fine to do just these little rectangles, but I think with it just is a little more quilting. So if you were going to use this, for example, as a background fill, this would be, it would work, I think, a little better as a fill. So, you know what, let me turn this light off and see if we can get a little bit better texture view of that. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And, you know, I hope maybe, you know, grab some of your stencils that you have and look at them and see if maybe you could apply this same idea to some other stencils that you have to come up with even, you know, your own different continuous curve version. Okay, hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you next time. Bye.